Hi, I'm Robyn and welcome to Well Conceived Business. We help online business owners within health and wellness to create a business and life that is not only well paid, but well lived. Here you'll find honest and refreshing conversations about what it takes to create a business around your life, what healthy hustle looks like, as well as insights and tips on growing your audience, your signature program, your profit, and your peace. Ready? Let's go. Hi, and welcome to Well Conceived Business. I hope that you are having the best Christmas season. I hope you are having a wonderful rest and having that ability to recharge in your business. Or I know that for me, sometimes the holiday periods mean that I can lean on more childcare and have longer days in my business, or have just that ability to be able to think a little bit more and ponder over things, let them mull over in my brain. You know, typical entrepreneur, like I'll be sitting at Christmas lunch this year thinking about, like, what is this funnel doing? How are our ads going? And I love that thinking time that I get. So I hope that whatever it is you're wanting to call in this Christmas season, you are getting that. And today, what we are talking about is how I've removed stress from my business. If you listened to my podcast episode from a few weeks ago, you'll know that the way that I set out for 2023 was not the way that we finished the year. Things feel like they've changed rapidly. I've changed rapidly. I've grown so much as a person, as a business owner. But sometimes when you take a leap, you decide to essentially throw away your audience and your secure revenue streams and almost start again. That can feel really uncertain. It can involve taking scary leaps, big trust falls in my business. And, you know, we've also been navigating a whole bunch of stuff in our personal lives as well. A big stuff with one of our daughters. We're about to embark on this giant renovation. When we get to New Year's Eve, we will have been away 11 times this year. So very much living the dream life, having loads of incredible experiences, but also having really challenging experiences as well, doing really new and different things, and always having to lean into trust that everything is going to work out. And it's been a work in progress over the last couple of years to really get to a space where I feel steady and even keel in my business the vast majority of the time, which is not the case from what it was a few years ago when I consistently felt overwhelmed. I felt stressed. I felt like the to-do list and guess like the mountain ahead of me was really overwhelming, and never had the ability to really see that finish line and feel like, when am I ever going to get there? It just felt like a never ending, kind of like laundry, just never ending pile there to do all the time. And so I spoke about this a little bit last week, but here's a few ways in a little bit more detail that I've removed stress from my business so that by and large, work and the journey of everything remains this giant source of joy for me. It's so incredibly fulfilling. And even when things don't go to plan, I'm able to sit in gratitude and stay laser focused on where we need to go and what we need to do. So let's dive into today's episode. Now, before we go any further, this is just a little note to let you know that applications are open for the Well Conceived Mastermind. Applications are actually going to be open until February. So yes, you've got a little bit of time, but there's a limited number of spaces. And by that, I mean, I can count it on two hands. Whilst doors will be open and applications will be open till the middle of February, I can't guarantee, and I have no idea. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but we definitely sold out this time last year. So if you do think you'd be interested in joining us in the Well Conceived Mastermind, reaching and growing and scaling your business in a way that doesn't require more hours, and getting really savvy with things like Facebook ads, funnels, programs, launches, then this is your invitation to join us. It is an incredible experience, and the camaraderie that we have within Well Conceived is awesome. I love every single person in there. We've been kicking such big goals over the last 6 months, and I would love for you to be part of that as well. If your business is currently making $20,000 to $250,000, this is your invitation to apply and join us for March to August 2024. So all of the details are at launcheasylife.com/mastermind. As I said, wouldn't encourage you to wait. There's no real benefit to waiting because you only pay a small deposit between now and March, and you might be able to get some insights into, from me, through the application process, on how you can really start to get your business moving right now. So encourage you to apply if you think you're in the criteria. If you're a little bit above or a little bit below and you still would really like to join, you're most welcome to reach out to me. And if it's not appropriate, if there's something else that I recommend, I'll for sure let you know. launcheasylife.com/mastermind, or even just send me a message and make yourself known on Instagram and we can chat further. So let's talk about stress in business, overwhelm, all of the things, and how I've really removed that from the business. Number one is simplified my niche. So even this time last year, as you will know, I was running two businesses, entire businesses, because they had such vastly different audiences, to social media platforms, like all of the things. And I've really simplified my niche. And even to go so far as, now that I'm no longer running my life coaching business, simplified it even more, that I specifically now talk to just health and wellness practitioners, and specifically speaking to health and wellness practitioners who are building their business in part-time hours and really value free time, freedom, rest into their businesses. I do not speak to the people who want to work in their businesses 60 and 70 hours per week, because that's not me. That's never been me. And I'm not speaking to the people who have aspirations of, like 10 and $20 million per year. 100% not. I am speaking to the person who wants a really small team, a laid back, low stress business. And I have really simplified everything in order to just speak to that one person now. Once you do that, everything becomes so much easier. Your content is faster. You get really clear and dialed in on who you're talking to, and it makes business overall so much less stressful. Number two is I have gone with a business model that completely lights me up. When your business model is unaligned to the business model that you want, business feels stressful. You can feel overwhelmed frequently. You can feel like you're trying to get things done, achieve things, work on things, and that's never going to happen for you. So in the same way as I don't have aspirations for a big team, it was the number one thing I hated in corporate land. I have two people that work with me. They're contractors. So I have that flexibility. I'm not bound by Australian employment laws because they work overseas. That's what feels really great to me. I still train them. I still work with them all the time, but I don't have aspirations of having a big giant team or a big business or big responsibility. I have aspirations to earn good money that supports our family and have a really low team, low stress role in the business. So that doesn't look like speaking events, for example. I don't want to travel anywhere. I don't want to go away all the time. It doesn't look like an e-commerce store where I'm packing orders all the time. It doesn't look like a big one-to-one load. So we have at any given time 6 one-to-one clients, but they are people who are already in the mastermind. And we've now taken away one-to-one coaching directly. All of our spaces are filled. So for people who want one-to-one coaching only, so it looks like a very low caseload and looks like me having just a few core products that we aim to fill and sell frequently. Number 3, and this is a massive one that I think I spoke about last week as well. Nothing's an emergency. And I'm constantly checking myself. I don't know if you've seen recently, there was like a thing that went on the internet about a little girl riding a seal in a playground, and then the lady cut into the reel, and because the kid fell off, got kicked off the seal by the seal. And so then there's a lady cuts into the reel and says, if you're ever questioning, she says it in an English accent, this is going to be so bad, but possibly entertaining. If you have a question in your parenting, then just ask yourself, have you ever let your child play with a seal on a playground? No? Well, probably doing all right then. Anyway, that's my best British accent. If you are from the UK, feel free to give me a rating, and I won't be salty if it's like 1 out of 10. So that is the same as me in business. I'm like, am I curing world conflict? Not really. Am I, responsible for running the entire emergency room at a hospital? No. Am I carrying the nuclear codes in the briefcase behind the President of the United States of America? No. Well, it's probably not the end of the world then, is it? And that's the way that I run my business. All of the deadlines, all of the rules, everything are likely in your business made by you, so you can change them. And do you need to buy into the stress of all of it? You absolutely do not. And the more that you can lean into the energy of everything's going to be okay, everything's going to work out, what is just the next thing on my to-do list? And the mantra, if you're in the mastermind, and I know if Laura, you're listening, you're going to laugh. The mantra that I use all the time is, how do you eat the whale? One bite at a time. And that's how I run my life. That's how I run my business. What is the one thing that really can't wait right now? And I also ask myself, like, can this actually wait a little longer? And often the answer is yes. The deadlines, the rules, the launches, the promotions, how well you do or don't do, so much of it is like not an emergency and doesn't need to require all of your emotional energy. It's a business. It's not, curing big diseases or anything like that. And that's how I run my business. I also am really ninja with my boundaries and my priorities. It is something that I've learned since I quit my part-time job and since we had big personal things happening. I'm very ninja with my boundaries and my personal life and my priorities. And I also firmly believe you're not here to build an Instagram following. You are here to build a business. So I don't get sucked into Instagram. If I have a really big life stuff going on in my life, I never feel beholden to an algorithm. And I mean, said on that is I build funnels that don't require me to be beholden to an algorithm, but encourage you to also have a look at your business. It's just not the end of the world. Nothing is an emergency, and you're here to have a really great life, not sit here, looking at funnels and views on reels and trending audios and hashtags. There's so much more to life than that. The next thing is, I am not backwards in coming forwards. And what that means is that I am committed to being a leader, and I don't shy away from hard conversations or conversations that might feel big for me. So by that, I mean, if somebody looks like they're really interested in the mastermind, they're clicking on all of my emails, they're consistently watching all of my stories, they are signing up for all of the freebies and all of the opt-ins, and they're just circling. I know that this person might just need some support to make the next step. And that sometimes also looks like me saying, I don't think I'm the right person for you, which happens. But I don't shy away from having hard conversations and stepping into the place of being a leader. And that extends to my team as well. If something is off kilter with my team, I say it. And I say it in the most lovely and respectful way that I know how. But the more that you let things fester, the more that you don't take action, the more that you don't take a deep breath and have the conversation, the more things will stay the same. So if you want to have change and progress and results in your business, that looks like stepping in as a leader and having conversations that sometimes you feel nervous about. The next one that I do is I block my time. This has been this year. So I've kind of navigated more and more towards this as the business has grown. Through midway of this year, something that we did, so if someone ever books into my calendar as a one-to-one, usually the calls are once every 2 weeks or once every week. And what that looks like is I say to the one-to-one client, how's Mondays at 10 a.m. work for you? I suggest a time and they're like, yep, works great. Great, I'm going to send you through the meeting request now, and it's just booked for the same time every week in the calendar. I book all of the appointments up front. In the mastermind, something that we used to do is, if someone had a one-to-one package within the mastermind, I would say, cool, you've got 6 packages, and let people book into the calendar. And what would happen is, like, on my work days, and at first I was like, well, like, I'm around Monday to Friday, and I want to serve, people in all the time zones, it looked like, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. And what happened when I did that was I'd have one person book in on Monday at 9:30, someone book in on Tuesday at 5 p.m., then someone book in on Thursday at 7 a.m. And I'd end up being like begging and borrowing with childcare. Sometimes I'd have the kids around. And I'm always the type of person who, if my kids are around, my kids are around. Like, I have a life and I'm a mum. So was always never having time with my children or doing anything with my children, then it would be almost impossible for me to run a business. So there's generally a part of me that's like, well, this is a situation that I'm in now. Like, I'm on school holidays potentially. If the kids are here, they just got to be here occasionally. I do try always, though, to have my children out of my house whenever I have any kind of call. But what happened was people could just book in their calls at any time. And so it would end up being, maybe 1 hour break in between calls, then another call right at the end of the day, really long childcare hours, chopping and changing what I was working on. So now I try to have almost all of my one-to-one calls on a Tuesday, sometimes a Wednesday for me, and my group training calls, so like our mastermind calls, are generally going to be on set days and set times as well. And what it looks like is I will send someone, hi, these are the dates you're booked into the calendar. Like, what day, time is going to work for you? And so if someone's in New York, that's generally going to look like 8 p.m. their time and 7 or 8, 9 or 8 a.m. my time. And we just book in the times and we book it all in right at the start of the container so that it's all there, it's all laid out. I've got my whole calendar there, and there's not like people booking in, then canceling, and people booking in at all different times. It's booked in and clumped together so that there's tasks and things that are all done at the same time at consistent times in my business. And I'm not like doing a one-to-one call, then stepping out, then stepping in, and constantly changing what I'm working on. I block my time for certain tasks and themes in my business. The next one is I'm frequently checking my capacity. So one of the other things that happened was just ran out of capacity at the beginning of this year. And so it's been a real process of checking my capacity. So at the beginning of this year, we were really snowed under with capacity. We were kind of at full capacity of what we could do. And it was starting to eat up into our promotion schedule, into the way that we were able to launch and pre-launch our products and our services. And so constantly checking in on your capacity, allowing yourself to expand and asking yourself, how can I increase my capacity? What needs to happen? What does my ideal work-life balance look like? And also being really super ninja with what your priorities are and managing sort of that, like the growth phase, the, top of funnel kind of stuff, with always making sure that there's capacity and ample capacity for delivery, and constantly asking yourself, which I do, how can I increase my capacity to serve more clients, and really trying to elevate myself, my programs into that space so that there's ample capacity. We're always able to answer everyone really quickly and give those answers when they need. The next thing, which has been a mainstay of mine for years, is automations and funnels. If you don't use funnels in your business very well, or you're not ninja at them and you're starting to grow your audience, the more you have to do manually, the more that is going to feel really stressful for you. And like, there's always stuff on the to-do list. So one of the ways that we've removed stress is by really automating and implementing funnels for so many things, because what they also do is provide you with consistency and consistent results, particularly when you start to invest in Facebook ads. They just give you, once you master them and know how to do them, just a level of consistency that you can't really compare to when you pair them with a funnel. You can say, this is how much I'm going to put in. This is how many subscribers I'm going to get out. This is how many people are going to convert to clients. And everything becomes like doable and plannable. You're not sitting in the space of unknown in your business, because you can very clearly see what the data says. And being really data driven has been something that's led to a lot of my success. The next one is having a runway in my business. So we at all times have a runway in our business. And why runway, what I mean is I have like several months of wages sitting in my account, so that if my revenue is lumpy, like a roller coaster, up and down and up and down, it kind of smooths it all out. And if I can recommend one book, and this is the book that I read the audiobook. It's so much funnier than just reading the book. It's by Mike Michalowicz and it's called Profit First. If any of you are in Australia, it's kind of like Barefoot Investor for business. And what I do, which is the next point, and they kind of lead into one another, is I have disbursements in my business. So I have different bank accounts in my business, one for expenses, one for income, one for wages, one for advertising, and one for tax. And so I have certain percentages that I transfer. So money always comes into the income account. Then from there, I transfer percentages of that revenue into different accounts. That gives me the ability to say, okay, how many months worth of expenses have I got sitting in the account? So that means this is how many months I can go. For wages, I pay myself a consistent wage in my business. And that allows me to say, if I make $0 between now and 3 months' time, that's fine. I can still pay myself wages. So I have that ability and spaciousness to not feel like I'm in dire straits emergencies in terms of always needing to make revenue. So number one, disbursements in my business. Like I just transfer percentages. I can see, well, what have I got? What's coming in? And that's a way that I can make sure that I'm always paying myself. But then having a runway in my business gives me space. Like I cannot describe how much it eliminates stress, but has also given me a lot more confidence in my finances and figures since I've been doing that. And the very last way that I've eliminated stress in my business is I focused on monthly recurring revenue. And in actual fact, in 2024, this is going to be a top priority for us. Lots of people will say, don't ever do 12-month payment plans or long extended payment plans. And we frequently offer long extended payment plans within our business because that way you can say, well, every month I've got guaranteed this amount of revenue coming through into the business. And so when you can say, okay, if I do nothing more, like if all of the wheels fall off in my personal life and nothing happens in the business, it doesn't matter because I've still got, like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, whatever that figure looks like for you, coming through in the business this month guaranteed because of sales that I made at a time when things were working, really well for me. And so focusing on having monthly recurring revenue is something that we have focused on and will be prioritizing a lot more into 2024. So those are some of the ways that I have removed stress in my business. I hope this episode has been incredibly helpful for you. If you want to step into a more low stress business, one that relies more on funnels, automations, leadership, and growth, again, this is your invitation to join us in the Well Conceived Mastermind. It runs like no other, and it's going to be so incredibly fun and results focused in 2024. That's all for me now. Have the best Christmas, and I will catch you after Christmas. Bye for now. We are done with the meat and potatoes of this episode, but I am not letting you go just yet, my friend. Before you jump off, I have 3 quick things that I would love to share with you. Number 1 is thank you so much for listening today. If you'd like to hear more about growing your visibility through Instagram, podcasting, or Pinterest, creating or launching or growing your signature program, automations, or many more online business nuggets of gold, pause now, hit that subscribe button because we are here for you weekly. Number 2 is if you would like to learn more about working with us and joining our signature program, the Well Conceived Mastermind, which is unlike any mastermind you've seen before, check out our show notes below and you will find all the links to join the waitlist or sign up and join the mastermind now. And number 3, lastly, if you do nothing else, make sure you come and find us on Instagram for daily behind the scenes and hugely savable and value-packed content. you will find us at Launch Easy Life. Well, that's it from me today. Now go out there and create your well-paid business and your well-lived life.